it's hard to tell though. You know, but some stuff be like confirmation bias, you feel me? It's like certain perspectives be pushed into the atmosphere that, ain't really nowhere near, my reality or like where I am, what mental space I'm actually in. That's been going on for years, so it ain't new. So it's confirmation bias, man. Things that would bring the most attention to a person, that's what's put into the atmosphere concerning that person, unanimously or inadvertently by certain entities that's already in question, or a person influence. So, you know what I'm saying? Like a person that's influential that can impact the way people think, and they volunteer certain perspectives into, regarding like they try to attach it to a person's life when in reality it's not nowhere near, what they have nothing to do with pretty much. So all of this is happening, this egregious, persecution happening to a Christian man, who truly pursued the path of righteousness throughout the years, you know, in a Christian society. But yet there's nobody there in a position to stop, any of those that was behind the scene doing these evils. So it's like nobody there to prevent it. It's like in plain sight. We live in like Revelations. You see how, society could turn out, how it will turn out, the spiritual reality. Then I think, at that point, it speaks for itself, It's influential figures that prey on the vulnerable in the interest of their monetary gain status, And they already admitted, you know what I'm saying? Like they already admitted a lot of stuff. And then sometimes it ain't even a case of, anyone trying to stage a frame, but just some people guilty. I just know anybody who like backtrack on my stuff, they see for themselves that this whole time I'm speaking as a victim and civilian, you know. I ain't speaking as somebody who got it all together that's already on the mountaintop, This was stuff that was happening way before, way before the present reality, was even the present, That's, that's how it really, it's how everything really played out, man. Like, you just, nobody, if you don't, it's like, what good is information if people get, like, diverted from it, or don't want to acknowledge it, or, ain't seeing it for themselves. You feel me? It's information, man. You can't do nothing with it. That's, just reality. But yeah, confirmation bias, man. I wrote a poem about that a couple months ago, I want to say. And it pretty much is like these really like constants. You feel me? They're factors in society, but it ain't really like something that it seems we have the power to change. You feel me? And some try to antagonize me for keeping track of what happened to me. Like, that's not my fault. The issue was, I think the question is why certain things were ignored during the times when it was vital. Because in us doing that, you know, it made it to where life can be further complicated, and it could snowball into more of a larger situation than what it was at the time. And that's what's happened. So it's like, in spite of the illumination of the situations, you know, it was ignored and allowed to spore into a point, that we see today, into a worse, state. And then on top of that, it implies, just the fact that nobody really has, like, any resolution for the situation. It's implied that I have to be destroyed or something, or silence or something, you know, to make the situation go away. So it's one of the most heinous things that ever happened in the history of not only the lands and the country, but also of society, of like humanity, And then it's these same influences they continue, like they allow to continue to beat you in the head with these to continue to beat you in the head with these impositions, telling you, it's pretty much suggesting that you forfeit all your rights. You know what I'm saying? Telling you things that they know is illegal and that you know is illegal, and they're saying do what we say, not what the statutes that created the land say. You know what I'm saying? They're saying do what we say because it'll save you know some type of image or something. I don't know. It's like do what we say. So basically, it's saying like they hinged, a person's entire existence on the ability for their truth to be made manifest. Like it's weird. Like they made my whole life be, you know, my whole life or just survival. They made it. They did this. This was intentionally dealt by a third party. That I had no relations with. Or more than one third party. I don't know. I know it was a very, very diabolical scheme, and it like pretty much made my life to be hinged on like whether or not the truth, that I illuminate is made manifest. It's like it's a trap. And then they constantly try to undermine. But I mean, that's just why another thing, and that's why I be subjected to so much violence. Just the other day, I just got violently attacked. In my means of life, in my livelihood. I just got violently attacked, in plain day, you know what I'm saying? Cunningly, while something contrary to what was really going on was actually being promulgated in the media. So that's the kind of life that I've had to live for following Christ Jesus in this country, all these years, harming nobody, bothering nobody, still subjected to extraordinary persecution. And so it's normal to me, but I mean, I feel better, I can rest in peace when I know that reality is understood, that's how it is. That's reality. That's the world we live in today. So that's showing that the Bible, and therefore it glorifies God. So that's why, I stand with things and I promote and I speak on what happens to, it can be used to glorify God. So I'm straight with that, you know. And so and so they made it to where my whole life will be rigged on whether or not the truth, can be made manifest or embraced, which ain't fair to me, because it's saying I'm not able to survive because of what somebody else done, and just like it's almost like I was a sacrificial, like like a lamb, like I've been like a scapegoat, you know, and I was a scapegoat in the situation, and it my life has been utterly ruined, as a result of these things, and then these influences continue to beat you on the head with these impositions, implying things that's unfair, untrue for you, like untrue or unfair for you, that they're not subjected to anybody that they love and support, who've submitted, to their influence, and who've submitted to everything that they want. They're not subjected to that. And so it's artists and influencers that do this. They got power to make, decisions over people's lives. And you never know why, they may not be, you feel me? You never know why they want to deprive a person of life and sustainability, And for me, it was because, um, the potential I had in God. This is not something new that I'm speaking on. I'm speaking on things that originated seasons ago, years ago. And I've been speaking on it like all year long, even though simultaneous to things happening, all the way up to this point, So I just knew, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know who was doing it. I just knew it wasn't right. And then I know that perpetuation of that is more domestic terrorism crime. So it's a compounded crime that's happening right in the eyes and in the face of the law, the judgment, and everything. And that's how it's been throughout the years, you know. And so, I mean, that's not right, you know. And that's why all I've done is stand by Christ, stand by grace. So whatever they're saying and applying to me is what everybody unanimously mean for Jesus Christ. Because if I feel like if all the evil that was dealt to me was acceptable, then the righteous light of God is just as acceptable to the same. And so it was so many that's passively or actively allowed, you know, the murder of Christ Jesus, you know. And so that in itself, you know, takes away God, you know, God's presence, you know, God, that God label had to be moved, you know. It ain't generally something that's of God, you know, if it generally allows his murder directly seeing his power and denying it, you know. So it's a lot to be considered, you know. But on confirmation biases though, that's the point of this segment, you know. Some look, you know, for problems, you know, they look for problems, you know, things to confirm falsehoods, you know. It's like framing, staging, things I've been going through for years. Still happening right now. I'm still under attack. I don't know if it's my career, it's my calling for God, you know, it's all of that. It's crazy though. Like it don't stop, you know. And that's been something that I've seen, you know, for quite some time. And you know, many not gonna understand, man. If they just not, you know, hearkening to my situation, you know, you is out of context. You know, only collectively will it make sense because all this time has been like that's every day. I mean, it's actually the least a person could possibly do, the bare minimum. You know, it's the bare minimum. You know, person could do to just to sustain their life, just to be able to glorify God in the earth. That's how it's been. You know, in order to glorify God, you have to, you know, survive to be able to do that. And that's what it's been like all these years. You know, it's been an attack on that. Only person that attack anything, you know, that's trying to do God's will, God's work is Antichrist. And whoever allow it and seen it is Antichrist. Whoever condone it or is passive towards it is Antichrist. And if that's forever, you know, and it's just that simple. So it can never be a Christ, you know. That's reality though. Fear no evil.